So somewhere in the beginning or the ending of July, I bailed out of jail through United Bail's Bonds. And upon bailing out, within 24 hours, I reported to the bail bond agency located in Riverside. And I talked to a couple of agents in there and basically started my paperwork and filled out my initial visit from, bailing out and signed some paperwork and stuff. And at that point, my girl and I walked in and, we thought everything was like family. We felt comfortable, thinking, okay, these guys keep me out of jail. Thank you for, putting up bail for me, this and that. I was really grateful. My girlfriend also was grateful, it's like, my baby's home. I ain't got nothing to stress about. Everything's cool. We can get over this because we were doing the right thing, but it turned into something like, whoa, real big. So, we signed some papers and we left the bail bonds. A couple of days later, Damien had called me, like 3 or 4 days later, Damien had called me again and stated that he needs more money. What's up with, what, $3,000 more or $6,000 more, or total. I ain't got it like that right now. I just gave you basically all the cash I had to get out of jail, and I told you that give me a couple of weeks or so, and I'm come up with another $3,000 or something just to give to you, just to, make everything add up to what it is. So, I also stated to him that, the Colton Police Department had my property on hold, which I had $2,000 cash in my wallet that they're holding for evidence, and that was part of the bond agreement also. That was basically going to supplement the $3,000 that I was going to give them upon my release. And when I called down to the police department to release my property, the police lady in the property release department said that they will close that during that time of the day and they won't be open till like 3 days following. And so I called Damien and told Damien that what happened, and it was like I lied to him from then on. He judged me when I walked in looking at, my jewelry, what I got on, and thought like, this dude got the money, regardless. He's caught up on a drug case and this and that, when it wasn't what it was. It was just a misunderstanding. But he looked at it as, I guess, we got some money right here. But, okay, a couple of days later, Damien called me again, after we relayed messages to him and let him know and informed him of what was happening. And it was like a whole different tune. And my girlfriend got scared, like, babe, I think, he's really like, I'm like, no, it's cool. I'm going to talk to Whoopie Whoop and get this situated, what I'm saying? Let her talk to him, that's her peoples, and, get this situated. Hopefully it'll be cool. She did call me back, and it was like, it was out of her hands then. And I was like, whoa, what did we get ourselves into? And at this time, like, a couple of days prior to that, after that actually, we get a call in the morning from Damien stating that, okay, everything's cool, yeah, we're going to be at the office today. I told him, my girlfriend told him yes, we'll be there when we get up, we're in the bed right now. And he said, all right, and hung up and said he'll call back. 20 minutes later, we get a knock at the door. My girlfriend opens the door, bam! Damien, some other agent dude, busted in with guns, pointing at the kids. Red dots everywhere on everybody's chest. Everything's just like, whoa, shocking. I'm standing in the kitchen, like, what the? Not knowing, like, I'm thought, people's coming to the house to kill us or something. Like, what do we do? Shit, we ain't doing nothing. Come to find out, they were bail agents. Put me in handcuffs, rushed me out the block. And tried to rush me off the block, but it was crazy. Put me in the back of a car, drove me around to West Valley parking lot, to Ontario Mills parking lot, to gas stations, just basically negotiating on the phone with my girlfriend and seeing what she had, collateral that she can take down right now, and this and that. So I got Damien basically to go to the bail department office, where I told him, when my girl comes up here right now, you can take, whatever I got. So I had like $800 in cash in my pocket, And when I was at the Bell's Bonds, he opened the back seat of the back of the door of the car, and everything like, well, what do you got right now? He started looking at my chain, my gold coins, and just everything else. Like, well, I can't do nothing with this. Well, what? No, I need cash, right? Cash, cash. I don't know nobody. You know what I'm saying? It was all this stuff, and I thought to myself, like, dang, these dudes is really doing some corrupt stuff because, hey, I just got out of jail. I don't have a court date until next month. I paid them money. You know, I'm making payments to these dudes. Why are they even on me like this?